February is a month dedicated to learning about heart health, and that's important because there's no shortage of misinformation and misconceptions when it comes to heart disease and strokes. Carmi Levy is our tech analyst. Hi, Carmi.
Good to see you, Mitsumi.
So, Carmi, I'm not sure what someone who has a stroke is supposed to look like, but I don't think you're what most people expect. So tell us what happened to you.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. So I was out for a ride on my bike. It was a hot summer afternoon. I was on my way home, came across a roadblock. There was construction, and I had to turn around in order to detour home. And I kind of threw my head over my shoulder, and in doing so, unknowingly tore my carotid artery on the left side. Immediately got a significant headache, but didn't think anything of it. It's a hot day. I ride home. I get home. By then, I have an absolutely splitting headache. Go for a rest. A few hours later, I'm barbecuing dinner, and all of a sudden, I feel myself feeling faint. I collapsed to the deck, and when my wife came out to see me, she was asking me questions, and I couldn't answer her. I could only answer in monosyllables. I couldn't move my right side. I was paralyzed. It felt very heavy. I knew full well what was going on, but I was locked inside. I couldn't answer her questions. She immediately called 911. We knew that I was having a stroke, and thus began our adventure.
And you said that, after you had the stroke, people said they were surprised. Even medical people were telling you that they were surprised. And I guess therein lies the problem, right? There's so many misconceptions.
Doctors kept coming in and looking at me, looking at my charts, looking back at my face and realizing, like, you're here 20 years too early. There's no way that you should be here presenting with a stroke. But that's the thing. Stroke is not something that is associated with age exclusively. The normal risk factors: smoking, obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation. I had literally none of those. I was a relatively young, athletic guy, and yet I still had it. And that's sort of the thing here, is that normally people think, well, you're too young for it. It can't be a stroke. Therefore, they don't feel like they should be moving much more quickly to get to the hospital. And in many cases, that can delay treatment, which, of course, in the case of stroke, time is brain cells. And the longer it takes for you to get that medical intervention, the more brain cells die, they don't grow back, the greater the risk of a fairly unhappy outcome. And so you have these two factors working together, and really awareness is what overcomes this. Recognize it can be any age, any state, any level of health. Doesn't matter who you are, it can strike.
A lot of people don't have doctors, though, Carmi. So they're going to go online for information. What do you think people should watch out for when they're online? How do they know if the information is good or bad?
Yeah, the last thing you want to be doing is playing Dr. Google or WebMD, and it's even worse now. AI bots, chatbots like ChatGPT, they're masquerading as medical professionals. In fact, the Canadian Medical Association just issued a warning saying don't rely on AI exclusively for medical guidance, because it can go off the rails. It can get things wrong. It is no replacement for a doctor who knows you, who can do examinations on you in person, as opposed to you just typing to it. So, what you need to do, if you're going to use it, and there's nothing wrong with using technology to educate yourself before you go see your doctor, check the sources, make sure that it links back to a valid source. Check the date of when something was posted. It might very well be outdated or obsolete. And so make sure that you trust those sources and keep track. And then when you bring it to your doctor, share that with them so that you aren't likely to be misinformed and that your doctor has all the information they need. Also recognize that ChatGPT is not a tool to be using when you are in the middle of an urgent episode. If you are feeling that you might be having a cardiac event or a stroke, do not be consulting your computer. Call 911.
Ever since your stroke, you've made it your mission. You want to raise awareness and what people should watch out for. What is your message to people who are watching you right now, thinking, well, it happened to him, but never going to happen to me?
It can happen to any one of us. And ever since I had my stroke, I wasn't quite sure how to message around that after it happened. But over the months immediately after the event, I started hearing from other people who either they had had a stroke and did not recognize the urgency, or someone in their family, an immediate family member, had had one, and they waved off calls to go to the hospital. Oh, it's no big deal. It isn't anything. I couldn't be having a stroke. I'm not in one of those groups. And in all of those cases, those individuals either either lost their lives because they should have received medical treatment sooner, or they suffered damage that they should not have because by the time they got treatment, it was past that window of opportunity. It was too late. The damage had already been done. So, my mission really is to share my experience so that no one has to go through that again. That if you think you're having a stroke, the first thing you need to do is get that assistance. I would rather have someone embarrassed, go to the hospital and, oh, it wasn't one, sorry for bothering you, as opposed to the opposite, where you live the rest of your life regretting that you didn't seek help faster. And so all it takes is a little awareness. You speak with your family. You have that medical preparedness plan in place. You have the literature from Heart and Stroke Canada, the FAST method on your fridge. Everyone knows their role, so that the immediate, as soon as you recognize it, you know exactly what to do. You act and you have a better outcome.
Okay. Thank you very much for this, Carmi.
Appreciate it, Mitsumi. Thank you.